So the conventional story about Machu Picchu is that it was constructed in the 15th century from scratch by the Inca and took approximately 25 years to build. However, you're going to see some artifacts that don't fit the paradigm that the Inca could have constructed it. This is a possibility. This is the so-called sacrificial stone. There's actually no evidence whatsoever that the Inca did human blood sacrifices at all. That was likely made up by the Catholic Church to shame the Inca descendants. And now this mountain in the background, which we'll see in a little bit, is the actual mountain of Machu Picchu. And here we see the sacred river below, called the Wilcanota, and that, of course, is the main part of the citadel of Machu Picchu. So there is Machu Picchu Mountain. So the name of the city has been forgotten. It's just that academics decided to call it Machu Picchu because it's located on Machu Picchu Mountain. And so what we're going to do is, this is going to be a virtual tour of almost all of Machu Picchu. In order to properly see it, actually takes a few days because it is huge in scale. This is just a portion. It's the main part, but just a portion of the Machu Picchu complex. And there is Huayna Picchu, the mountain in behind. Huayna Picchu means young peak. Machu Picchu means old peak. And again, another breathtaking vista of looking down towards the main ceremonial and living center. And of course, you see all of the terracing system that flanks all sides of this incredible place. So looking out at the other mountains in the area, down to the Wilcanota River again, and across to the main part of the complex, which we're going to be exploring in just a few minutes. And once more, just one more vista to allow you to see the magnificence and my head of the Machu Picchu area. It's actually highly likely, or most probable, that the Inca discovered Machu Picchu, and then they were so blown away by the mastery craftsmanship of the core area that they decided to make it a major center. So now we're walking down through the terracing system, and eventually we're going to approach the core part, and the core is where we find ancient megalithic aspects which the Inca could not have constructed, so clearly they discovered the core part, which comprises about 5% of Machu Picchu, and then they built over the course, most likely of centuries, the whole complex, because it is absolutely huge. So here we are walking down the main ceremonial road that actually leads to Cusco if we go backwards. And this is one of two major ways in ancient times to get into Machu Picchu. The other one is on the backside of Machu Picchu Mountain and would lead you to the last Inca city called Vilcabamba or Wilcabamba. And this is the main gate in traditional times to enter into Machu Picchu. So this is how the royal Inca people would enter Machu Picchu from the city of Cusco, which was, of course, their capital. And what we're seeing is Inca period construction. You can see there are gaps in the stonework. There's some filling that was done with small stones and also clay mortar in some cases. But it is possible that this main gate was originally megalithic and was rebuilt by the Inca. Notice the small stones on top. So here we are proceeding down towards the ceremonial core. And again, here we're looking at basic Inca construction. This is looking back at where we started this adventure. And here again, Inca construction. Relatively rough, various sizes of stones put together. No surfaces are especially well done. And all of the stone of the construction of Machu Picchu came from the mountain itself. It's all white granite. All of these mountains in the area are all solid white granite. Now the curious thing about Machu Picchu is that you can see they're big flat surfaces, whereas all the other mountains in the background are peaked or rolling. And here we see a giant stone. This is part of the quarry that the Inca used. They took advantage of the cracks in order to be able to split the stone. And now we're starting to approach the megalithic part of Machu Picchu. Again, most visitors don't even notice the difference between the wall on the left and the wall that you're looking at in the background. But here we have relatively rough Inca work, and here again. And then this incredibly fine craftsmanship. Granite is a very hard stone, so the bronze tools of the Inca would have been useless. Therefore, this is the part of Machu Picchu that they found in ruins. And again, I don't think that Machu Picchu was constructed over 25 years. It was probably hundreds of years because of the scale of the complex. But here you see the basic difference. The Inca found these giant megalithic blocks, and then they decided to repair it by adding the smaller stones to the top part. You see the great difference between the giant stones on the bottom and the little ones on top. The rough work on the top, the very fine work on the bottom. And then here, this is another part of the megalithic aspect of Machu Picchu. And there, again, relatively crude Inca work. So what we can see is that a giant cataclysm struck Machu Picchu in the distant past, before Inca times, and pulled all of these stones apart. They used to fit perfectly together. As you can see, the incredible level of craftsmanship here as compared to the rough work above here. And now this is the inside of this interesting three-sided structure. It never appears to have had a fourth side. And here we see the cataclysmic damage. The right wall has sunken down by about 2 feet. That would require a huge earthquake. And now look at this very complex stone on the bottom. Look at the number of corners and the number of angles. I believe this stone on the bottom has approximately 22 angles, and the other stones three-dimensionally interlock with it. That is an incredible achievement. And then here, we're looking across to the other side of Machu Picchu. This is mainly Inca work, but here we see the megalithic work that was repaired. And again, the wall that was pulled apart by a giant cataclysmic earthquake. And this mountain was shaped by the Inca, or this rock was shaped by the Inca to reflect the mountains in the background, which is quite curious. Reason unknown. And then finally, this is the pinnacle of Machu Picchu. This is called the hitching post of the sun, or the Intihuatana. And it was used as a calendar by the Inca people, not simply for the solstices and the equinoxes, but it was likely used every day of the year as a way to check time and also compare time or days of the year with crop production in the local area and beyond. So this is not simply a stone, this is the top of the mountain itself. And each angle of the top part points to one of the 4 mountains in the background. As in here, That angle is pointing to Machu Picchu Mountain. And so, our final look at the Intihuatana. And the next video will be about this site. This is called Ollantaytambo, and it's located in the northern end of the Sacred Valley of Peru. It again has megalithic aspects that the Inca found, as well as lots of Inca work.